I remember when I first opened my eyes and found myself here. An infinite black void. All that stared back at me was cold seawater and endless bits and bobs from the surface which gluttony had swallowed, as well as a red core. At first, I used my abilities to try every possible method of escape. I tried shooting bubbles at the core. I tried using my kotodama. None of it worked. Gluttony was different than ordinary raptures. It was moving by primal instinct alone. The result was that my kotodama had no effect on it. Gluttony seemed to prioritize its urge to consume above all other instincts. When I'd exhausted all possible means of escape, I started to become afraid. Was I going to die in this place? Once I was digested, what kind of attack would gluttony unleash on the outside world? What would happen if gluttony found out about the nature of my bubbles? Was I doomed to fail once again, without achieving anything? It was at that moment that I remembered a promise I'd once made to a few friends. She told me that from now on, our story was no longer one of failure, but a fairy tale. One with a happy ending. I became determined not to give up. My friends were surely out there, trying their best in order to keep that promise too. I couldn't give up. I had to struggle with all my might. In order to keep myself alive, I had to create more bubbles. I expanded the protective bubble around myself in order not to be detected by gluttony's core. I gathered surrounding remnants from the surface and created a space where I could live. I crafted a tree out of bubbles, fabricated a bubble workshop, and built all the places where I lived with you guys. I also made dolls that resembled my friends and launched them up to the surface. I hoped that someday, perhaps my friends would encounter these doppelgangers and come looking for me. I continued making the bubbles and launching them up to the surface. Again and again, I did this. I waited for a long time. At times, the loneliness was excruciating. I considered giving up more than once. But even in the deepest depths of my despair, my longing to see my friends trumped all else. I wanted to uphold the promise I made on that day. And so I strengthened my resolve countless times and pushed on. Then you guys came, swallowed whole by gluttony. I was terribly worried for you all. But paradoxically, I was also ecstatic to finally have company. During my time alone, I had learned how to control my kotodama. And being able to talk, laugh, and live with you all filled me with ineffable joy. That's how much you all mean to me. Your presence here was a gift. I'm so glad I was able to meet you all. I'm not afraid of the end anymore. I'm no longer scared. I'm no longer lonely. So don't blame yourselves. And live well.
Siren! What?
Are you awake?
Who?
Nice to meet you. I'm Mana of the MMR squad.